Have you ever noticed how the more you chase people, the faster they run away? How the more you beg for love, attention, or validation, the more invisible you become? The truth is, the world does not respect those who chase. It respects those who attract. And attraction only happens when you are focused on yourself, your growth, your purpose, your peace. So stop chasing what keeps running. Stop begging for what doesn't value you. It's time to redirect that energy inward. Because the most powerful thing you can ever become is unavailable to anything that drains your spirit. The moment you stop begging for attention, something powerful happens. You begin to rise. Because begging is a posture of weakness. And life never rewards weakness. When you chase what's not meant for you, you waste the very energy that was designed to build your destiny. People will overlook you when you chase them, but they will study you when you withdraw and focus on yourself. There's a silent authority that comes from a person who doesn't need to prove anything. Many people lose their power by giving it away in small doses. One apology too many, one text too long, one moment of waiting for someone to see your worth. But your worth is not found in the recognition. It's found in your realization. The more you invest in yourself, the less you tolerate disrespect. The more you work on your goals, the less you seek validation. The more you develop your mind, the less you chase what is temporary. When you start focusing on yourself, you begin to attract the right people, the right energy, and the right opportunities. Because focus creates value, and value creates magnetism. People are drawn to those who are whole, not those who are desperate. Every minute you spend begging someone to stay is a minute stolen from your purpose, and your purpose deserves your full attention. Myles Munroe once taught that you were created to dominate your environment, not to be dominated by emotion or fear of loss. Chasing is fear-based. It's the fear of being alone, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough. But focus is faith-based. It's the belief that what's meant for you will recognize you when you are ready. Your job is not to chase people. Your job is to become so aligned with your purpose that people chase the light they see in you. Let me tell you this. Every season of your life requires a new version of you. Some people were only meant for your past version. That's why they left. Stop trying to reopen doors that destiny has closed. Stop begging for a seat at tables that are not meant for you. Build your own table. When you rise, you'll attract a new circle that matches your frequency. Focus on your discipline, your growth, your health, your dreams. When you channel your energy inward, your confidence grows quietly. You begin to glow differently. You no longer chase love, you embody it. You no longer seek validation, you live with purpose. You stop explaining yourself and start expressing yourself. Listen carefully. The reason some people ignore you now is because your energy is too focused outward. When you turn that energy inward, they will notice. But by then, you won't even care, because true peace begins when you stop craving what doesn't feed your soul. When you master focus, you master attraction. You stop begging for love and start radiating it. You stop chasing people and start building yourself. And one day, those who overlooked you will wonder how you became so powerful, so confident, so unbothered. And you'll simply smile because you finally learned the only person you ever needed to chase was your higher self. Don't chase people, chase purpose. Because people are unpredictable, temporary, and often driven by their own insecurities. Purpose, on the other hand, is stable, loyal, and eternal. When you chase people, you lose yourself trying to fit into places where you were never meant to belong. But when you chase purpose, you find yourself, and everything meant for you finds its way to your path. Think about it. How many times have you spent nights overthinking why someone left? Why someone didn't text back? Why someone didn't see your worth? You waste so much mental energy on people who are never supposed to complete you, only to teach you something. The truth is, every time you chase people, you delay your own destiny. Because while you're busy running after someone's attention, your purpose is standing still, waiting for you to remember who you are. Look around. Every successful person you admire didn't get there by chasing approval. They got there by chasing purpose. The athlete who trains when no one's watching, the artist who keeps creating even when no one buys their work, the entrepreneur who wakes up early and builds something out of nothing. These are the people who decided that their purpose was worth more than people's opinions. They learned that consistency outshines validation. Imagine a man watering someone else's garden every day, hoping they'll let him pick one flower, while his own garden back home is dying. That's what it looks like when you chase people instead of purpose. You pour your time, energy, and emotion into others, thinking it'll fill you up, but you end up empty. Meanwhile, your own dreams, your own goals, your own potential are left unattended. And one day, when you look back, you realize the person you neglected most was yourself. Chasing people often comes from fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being forgotten, fear of not being enough. But purpose has no fear. Purpose gives you direction when life feels confusing. Purpose tells you, keep walking, even if no one claps for you. Purpose whispers, don't stop. They might not see you now, but the right people will. When you chase purpose, you walk with quiet confidence. You no longer beg to be noticed. You prepare to be recognized. Many people think success is about who you know. But the truth is, success is about who you become. People can open doors for you. But if you haven't prepared for what's behind that door, it will close again. When you chase purpose, you become ready for opportunities that others miss. You become magnetic, and the right people will be drawn to you. Not because you chase them, but because you're walking in alignment with what you're meant to do. Think about a candle. When it burns with purpose, it doesn't chase darkness, it simply shines. And because it shines, everything around it becomes brighter. That's how purpose works. You don't chase the world, you light your own world, and the world finds its way to you. In daily life, this means choosing growth over gossip. It means saying no to distractions that don't align with your goals. It means spending your evenings learning, building, creating, instead of scrolling endlessly through other people's lives. You can't chase purpose if you keep comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. Your story is unique. Your timeline is divine. Focus on your lane. Your purpose doesn't need competition, it needs commitment. When you chase people, you'll always be behind them. But when you chase purpose, people will eventually chase you. They'll want to learn from you, work with you, be around your energy. You'll notice that the same ones who ignored you when you were chasing them will start to notice you when you stop. And not because you changed for them, but because you finally became who you were meant to be. Chasing purpose doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means aligning yourself. It means surrounding yourself with people who feed your fire, not drain it. It means saying, I'm not available for anything that doesn't help me grow. It means waking up every day with a reason, not just a routine. It means living intentionally, walking with vision, and trusting the process even when it's silent. When you chase purpose, you stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. Because you know that every challenge is part of the process. Every setback is shaping your strength. Every rejection is redirection. Purpose gives you power. Power to walk away from what's not meant for you and power to create what is. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the people you once chased are nowhere to be found. But the life you built from purpose is standing strong. Because purpose doesn't abandon you. It grows with you. It rewards you. It becomes your legacy. Stop begging for recognition. When you constantly seek validation from others, you give them power over your self-worth. You make your happiness dependent on someone else noticing you, praising you, or approving your actions. Every time you look for recognition, you allow your energy to be diverted from building yourself to satisfying someone else's opinion. And the truth is, the world rarely gives praise where it is truly due. There will always be someone who overlooks your effort, belittles your progress, or fails to see the sacrifices you make. If you let that define you, you will live a life of endless disappointment. Think about a child learning to walk. The child does not seek recognition for taking a step. The child falls, gets up, and keeps moving. The world around may cheer, or it may not even notice. Yet the child continues because the act of walking itself is enough. There is a lesson here. Your actions, your growth, your discipline, your pursuit of purpose should be enough to satisfy you. If you need applause for every step, you will never truly move forward. In daily life, how often have you stayed silent in a meeting, hesitated to share an idea, or delayed taking action because you were waiting for someone to notice your effort? How many times have you done extraordinary work and felt disappointed when others failed to acknowledge it? These moments teach you that recognition is not guaranteed, but your work is your responsibility. The value of your actions is inherent, not granted by others. The world will recognize you in its own time, but only after you have proven to yourself that your worth is real and independent of external approval. Stop begging for recognition by becoming disciplined in what you do, whether anyone sees it or not. Write that book even if no one reads it today. Start that business even if your friends doubt you. Practice that skill even if no one applauds. Work on yourself even if the world ignores you. Your consistency will eventually create momentum, and your impact will speak louder than any words of praise ever could. Recognition follows, but it is not the source of your power. Look at everyday examples. The cleaner who sweeps the floor meticulously, the nurse who stays late caring for patients, the parent who sacrifices sleep and comfort for their children, the student who studies relentlessly for exams. All of these people rarely receive constant recognition, yet their diligence builds the foundation of their lives and influences others in ways unseen. They understand that recognition is temporary, but the work itself is permanent. They focus on their effort, not on the applause. This is how true leaders are shaped. Stop begging for recognition by valuing your own opinion of yourself above all others. Praise yourself for the little victories. The morning you woke up before your alarm, the day you resisted temptation, the moment you pushed through pain to achieve a goal. When you start celebrating your own efforts, you cultivate self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic. People will naturally notice the energy of someone who honors their own work without needing validation. It is impossible to ignore someone who carries themselves with quiet confidence born from self-recognition. Recognition seeking often comes from insecurity. We want others to tell us we are enough because we have not yet decided for ourselves. But when you stop begging for recognition, you shift your focus inward. You start asking, am I proud of what I am doing? Am I moving in the direction of my purpose? Am I honoring myself today? These questions cultivate inner authority. They transform you from someone who pleads for attention into someone whose presence commands it naturally. In daily life, this could mean finishing a project late at night when no one else is working, studying for an exam before anyone else wakes up, practicing your craft when no one is watching, or exercising discipline in your body, mind, and spirit when no one notices. Every action you take in alignment with your purpose becomes a testament to your self-worth. The more you invest in yourself without seeking recognition, the more authentic, powerful, and unstoppable you become. Stop begging for recognition by remembering that life is not a stage for your approval, it is a field for your excellence. When you focus on being excellent instead of being praised, your work transcends the need for applause. The results of your effort will become undeniable. Recognition will arrive not because you chased it, but because your commitment created a presence too strong to be ignored. It is the quiet, relentless pursuit of your own standards that sets you apart, that inspires others, and that shapes the life you are destined to live. Invest in your personal growth. Too many people wander through life expecting results without effort, waiting for opportunities to fall into their laps, hoping someone will recognize their potential without them first showing it. But growth is not given, it is earned. It is a process that requires time, discipline, and consistent action. Every moment you spend learning, improving, and refining your skills is a seed planted in the soil of your future. Neglecting your growth is like expecting a tree to bear fruit without watering it, without sunlight, without care. Consider the person who wakes up each morning and chooses to read, to exercise, to learn a new skill, even when it feels inconvenient. They might not see immediate results, and often the world may not notice their effort, but every small action compounds over time. The person who studies for an extra hour while others scroll social media, who practices their craft while others sleep, who challenges themselves mentally and physically while others remain comfortable, is investing in something far greater than temporary satisfaction. They are investing in their future self. Personal growth also means facing discomfort. It means doing things you do not feel like doing, having conversations you fear, taking risks that might expose you to failure. Imagine an apprentice learning a craft. The first time they try, they make mistakes. The second time, the same. But with patience and dedication, their hands grow skilled, their mind sharp, and eventually they achieve mastery. Life rewards those who endure discomfort for the sake of growth, not those who avoid it in pursuit of immediate comfort or acceptance. Growth is visible in the small, daily choices we make. It is choosing to wake up early to plan your day, instead of sleeping late and wasting precious hours. It is choosing to save and invest your money instead of spending recklessly. It is choosing to listen and learn from criticism rather than reacting defensively. Every decision to better yourself is an investment in a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more capable than the one from yesterday. Look at examples in daily life. The student who studies when friends are partying, the athlete who trains while others rest, the professional who takes online courses to improve their skills, the writer who continues to write even when no one reads their work yet. All of them are investing in personal growth. They understand that their effort today compounds into opportunities tomorrow. They are aware that the world may not notice their struggle, but it cannot ignore their excellence once it emerges. Investing in personal growth is not just about skills or knowledge, it is also about character. Growth requires patience, self-discipline, humility, and resilience. It is about developing emotional intelligence, learning to control impulses, managing stress, and cultivating a mindset that can endure setbacks. The person who grows internally is unstoppable externally. They carry a presence that attracts opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with their level of development. Personal growth also requires reflection. It means evaluating your habits, your decisions, and your environment, asking yourself what serves your vision and what holds you back. It is the daily commitment to becoming a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. You must be willing to let go of toxic influences, outdated beliefs, and behaviors that no longer serve you. The process is uncomfortable, but every challenge you overcome adds strength to your character and depth to your understanding. When you invest in yourself, the ripple effect is immense. Your confidence increases because you know your value is not dependent on others' recognition. Your productivity soars because your mind is sharper, your skills are honed, and your focus is clear. Your relationships improve because you bring a better, more stable, and more conscious version of yourself to every interaction. The world responds to growth because it cannot ignore a person who continuously evolves. Every act of investment in personal growth, no matter how small, compounds over time. Reading a single chapter a day, exercising for 30 minutes, learning a new skill, reflecting on your goals, each is a step toward your higher self. People who understand this principle become magnetic. They no longer chase opportunities or validation. Instead, they become the standard others aspire to. Growth is the quiet force that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary individuals, and it begins the moment you decide that investing in yourself is not optional, but necessary. Embrace solitude. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, and your approval, learning to be alone without feeling lonely is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Most people fear solitude because they confuse it with emptiness, but solitude is not absence, it is presence. It is the presence of your own thoughts, your own vision, and your own purpose. It is the time when you confront yourself, when you hear your inner voice, and when you begin to understand who you truly are. Think about it, how many of us spend our lives surrounded by noise, constantly scrolling through social media, trying to be liked, trying to fit in, trying to please others, and yet feel empty at the end of the day. We fill our hours with distractions to avoid facing the one person who truly matters. Solitude gives you the space to stop running from yourself. It allows you to reflect on your choices, your goals, and your direction. It is in these quiet moments that clarity is born. Embracing solitude means valuing your own company more than the need for constant approval. It is about taking long walks alone, spending evenings reading, writing, or meditating, and not feeling incomplete because someone is not by your side. It is about making peace with silence and understanding that your worth is not defined by who shows up in your life, but by how you show up for yourself. Solitude teaches you self-reliance. When you are comfortable alone, you stop depending on external validation to feel significant. You become whole, and wholeness is magnetic. Look at everyday examples. The entrepreneur who spends late nights alone planning and strategizing for their business. The student who studies alone to master a subject. The athlete who practices by themselves to perfect their craft. The writer who sits in quiet cafes or rooms, developing ideas no one will see yet. All of them embrace solitude because they understand that greatness requires focus. Solitude is the canvas where skills are sharpened, thoughts are refined, and visions are clarified. Solitude also allows you to confront your fears and insecurities. When you are constantly surrounded by people, it is easy to hide behind distractions and approval. But alone, you must face your weaknesses, your doubts, and your past mistakes. This confrontation is uncomfortable, but it is transformative. It forces you to take responsibility for your life, to understand that your growth cannot depend on others, and that every limitation you perceive is yours to overcome. It is in the silence that courage is born, discipline is formed, and resilience is strengthened. Embracing solitude is not about isolation. It is about alignment. It is the alignment of your mind, body, and spirit. It is when you can sit quietly and think deeply about your goals, your purpose, and the legacy you want to leave. Solitude allows for vision. When you are alone, uninterrupted, you can dream without compromise. You can plan without influence. You can see your path clearly because the distractions of opinion, comparison, and expectation are removed. Many people misunderstand solitude because they fear being forgotten or unloved. They fear missing out on opportunities, relationships, or attention. But the truth is, the person who masters solitude never truly misses out. They create the space to grow so powerful that the world eventually seeks them out. Solitude is preparation. It is the training ground where the mind sharpens, the heart strengthens, and the spirit awakens. Daily life examples show that solitude is a practice. Waking up an hour earlier than everyone else to work on a goal, sitting quietly with a notebook, reflecting on your dreams, meditating for clarity, taking a solitary hike to think, journaling late at night to process emotions. These are all acts of embracing solitude. They build self-awareness, patience, and an inner compass that no one else can provide. The more you practice being alone, the less you are swayed by noise and distractions, the more your actions are intentional, and the more your life is guided by purpose rather than chaos. Solitude teaches you to value your own journey. It reminds you that while others are chasing trends, opinions, or validation, you are building yourself. It is in the quiet moments, the pauses, the stillness that the foundation of greatness is laid. Solitude is not loneliness, it is freedom. It is the freedom to think, to grow, to plan, and to become the person you were meant to be without compromise or influence. It is a sacred space where dreams take root, where discipline is born, and where your highest self begins to emerge. Energy flows where focus goes. Whatever you put your attention on, whatever you think about the most, that is what grows in your life. If you focus on problems, fears, or the mistakes of the past, your energy will feed them and they will expand. If you focus on negativity, resentment, or what others think of you, your life becomes a reflection of that chaos. The mind is like a garden. If you water weeds, the weeds will overrun everything. But if you nurture flowers, they will bloom and fill your space with beauty. Consider the student who spends more time worrying about failing than actually studying. The more they focus on the fear of failure, the less they absorb knowledge, the more distracted they become, and the more their anxiety grows. But when that same student shifts focus to mastering the material, their energy is aligned with progress. The fear does not disappear instantly, but the action of focus begins to build momentum. What you focus on does not just occupy your thoughts, it directs your life. In daily life, this principle can be seen in relationships as well. If you constantly focus on someone's flaws, their absence, or the times they have hurt you, your energy feeds frustration and resentment. It makes you reactive, bitter, and emotionally drained. But if you focus on your own growth, your purpose, and the positive aspects of people who matter, your energy flows into creation rather than destruction. Suddenly, the same circumstances feel manageable, your mind becomes clear, and opportunities appear that you could not see when consumed by negativity. Think of an athlete training for a championship. Their body could easily be exhausted, their mind tired, but the focus is on the goal, the movement, the technique, the improvement. Every repetition, every drop of sweat is energy channeled toward achievement. If their attention wandered to distractions, doubts, or comparisons with competitors, that energy would be wasted and progress would stall. What you give attention to shapes your reality, whether in sports, work, or life itself. Energy flows where focus goes because attention is not neutral, it is creative. When you think about solutions, possibilities, and actions, your energy naturally aligns with them. When you dwell on excuses, limitations, or fear, your energy aligns with stagnation. It is why some people seem to magnetize success effortlessly. They have trained their focus. They know where their energy is needed and guard it fiercely. They do not allow gossip, envy, or distraction to claim what belongs to their dreams. In practical terms, this means paying attention to your habits, your thoughts, and your intentions. It means noticing where your mind drifts when you are tired or stressed and deliberately redirecting it toward what will build your future. Reading, learning, practicing skills, exercising discipline, and reflecting on your goals are all ways to intentionally channel energy. The more conscious you are of your focus, the more you can cultivate the life you desire rather than reacting passively to the world. Examples appear everywhere. The person who spends their evenings learning a new language, practicing an instrument, or creating art is focusing energy on growth. The parent who focuses on nurturing a child's talents rather than complaining about challenges is investing energy in building character and confidence. Even small shifts matter. The conversation you choose to engage in, the content you consume, the goals you prioritize, all direct energy in specific directions. Neglect this, and energy leaks away into distractions that bring no value. Energy flows where focus goes, and this principle extends to emotions as well. Anger, jealousy, and fear grow when you feed them with constant attention. Gratitude, confidence, and peace grow when you cultivate them deliberately. Imagine checking your social media feed obsessively, comparing your life to others. The energy you spend fuels anxiety and dissatisfaction. Now imagine redirecting that same energy into learning a skill, helping someone, or planning a goal. The energy transforms into growth, opportunity, and satisfaction. When you understand this, you realize the immense power in controlling your focus. Your attention is a tool of force and a responsibility. It shapes your mindset, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. People who master where their energy flows are not distracted by chaos or opinion. They prioritize what matters, act intentionally, and build momentum toward their purpose. Every thought, every choice, every second of focus becomes a building block, creating a life aligned with vision and intention. In daily life, practicing this could be as simple as starting the day by focusing on priorities rather than worries, keeping a journal to capture important ideas, setting aside time for skill development, or consciously appreciating progress rather than mistakes. The more you practice directing energy to what truly matters, the less you are pulled into distraction, negativity, or the unnecessary drama of others. Energy flows where focus goes, and the life you experience is the reflection of where you consistently choose to place your attention. Become your own source. Too many people spend their lives looking outside themselves for validation, happiness, or motivation. They wait for someone to notice their worth, for someone to give them love, for someone to approve their ideas, and in doing so, they hand over the most precious power they have, the power of self-reliance. True strength comes when you realize that you are the origin of your own energy, the creator of your own confidence, and the source of your own fulfillment. No one can give it to you if you do not claim it for yourself. Consider the child learning to ride a bicycle. There is no one to push them constantly, no one to ensure they will not fall. The child must pedal, balance, and steer alone. Every time they wobble, every time they scrape a knee, it is their effort that keeps them moving forward. The moment they stop waiting for someone to make it easier, they become the source of their own progress. Life works the same way. Until you take ownership of your growth, your happiness, and your purpose, you will always depend on forces outside your control. In daily life, becoming your own source means taking responsibility for your emotional state. It is easy to blame circumstances, relationships, or failures for your feelings. A missed promotion, a harsh word from a friend, or a delayed opportunity can trigger frustration, disappointment, or despair if you allow them to. But the person who becomes their own source learns to regulate their emotions, to draw strength from within, and to maintain balance regardless of external chaos. They understand that happiness is not borrowed, it is cultivated internally. Look at examples around you: the entrepreneur who continues building a business even when investors doubt them, the artist who keeps creating despite rejection, the student who studies late into the night when no one else encourages them, the athlete who trains in solitude while others rest. All of them have tapped into themselves as their primary source. They do not rely on applause, recognition, or permission. They recognize that the energy required to achieve greatness comes from within, and they cultivate it relentlessly. Becoming your own source also means developing resilience. Life will inevitably throw obstacles in your path: failures, betrayals, losses, and disappointments. The person who depends on others for strength may crumble when external support is absent. The person who is their own source knows that strength is not a gift from outside. It is a habit, a practice, and a mindset cultivated daily. Resilience grows when you learn to rely on your own judgment, your own skills, and your own courage in the face of adversity. In practical terms, this could mean starting each day with intention rather than reaction. It means practicing gratitude, reflecting on personal goals, and committing to actions that align with your vision, regardless of what others think. It means nourishing your mind, body, and spirit so that your energy is self-sustaining. It means reading, exercising, meditating, journaling, learning, and creating patterns that continuously feed your sense of purpose and power. Becoming your own source also requires setting boundaries. When you understand that your energy is precious, you no longer allow people, situations, or distractions to drain it. You stop overcommitting to others at the expense of yourself. You prioritize what feeds your growth and release what diminishes it. This is not selfishness, it is self-preservation. The stronger your internal source, the more you can give to the world without losing yourself in the process. In relationships, becoming your own source means that love, respect, and attention are enhancements to your life, not necessities. You do not beg for affection or chase validation because your fulfillment comes first from within. In work, it means that recognition and promotion are outcomes, not prerequisites for motivation. You create your own drive, and the results are natural byproducts of your consistent effort and internal energy. Think about everyday situations. The person who wakes up before sunrise to work on a goal, the parent who finds joy in teaching their child life lessons, the friend who uplifts themselves before attempting to uplift others, the student who studies independently to achieve mastery. These people understand that being a source unto themselves allows them to navigate life with independence, confidence, and clarity. They do not rely on external approval, and therefore their growth is uninterrupted by the chaos of the outside world. Becoming your own source is also about mindset. It is the decision to stop asking for permission from life to be happy, successful, or significant. It is the realization that the answers, the power, and the resources you need are already within you. When you cultivate this, you walk through life with an unshakable presence, a self-contained energy that attracts opportunities, relationships, and experiences naturally. The world cannot dictate your value because you have claimed it as your own, and from that place of inner strength, everything you touch begins to reflect the power you have cultivated internally. Let your absence speak. Many people fail to understand the power of silence, the authority of withdrawal, and the influence of not being constantly available. We live in a world obsessed with presence, with attention, with being everywhere and doing everything to be noticed. But often, the more you are seen, the less you are valued. The more you try to prove yourself, the more your energy is consumed by chasing recognition instead of creating it. True power lies not in constant visibility, but in the ability to step back and let your absence communicate your worth. Think about the relationships you've experienced in life. Have you ever noticed that the people who take your presence for granted rarely miss you, while the ones who are rare, the ones who are not always available, leave a lasting impact? Absence creates space for appreciation, reflection, and desire. When you are always present, your value can be diluted. When you step away intentionally, people begin to realize what your presence truly means. It is the silence between words, the pause between appearances, that carries authority, power, and respect. In daily life, this principle can be applied everywhere. Consider a coworker who is constantly agreeing, constantly participating, constantly trying to be seen. At first, people appreciate the effort, but over time, it becomes expected, ordinary, and forgettable. Now consider the colleague who focuses on delivering exceptional work, but does not feel the need to be everywhere or to impress everyone constantly. When they are absent from a meeting, their ideas are missed. When they are quiet, their contributions are remembered. Their absence speaks louder than any words could. Let your absence speak by prioritizing your energy. You cannot be everywhere for everyone without losing yourself. The more selective you are with your presence, the more impact you create. The moments when you are seen become significant, the contributions you make are noticed, and your influence grows because it is concentrated rather than diluted. The world respects those who understand that attention is a resource, not an entitlement, and that every act of availability must be intentional. In personal relationships, letting your absence speak is equally powerful. Too often, people overextend themselves emotionally, trying to prove their worth through constant attention, texts, calls, or presence. When you withdraw respectfully, focusing on your own growth, passions, and priorities, people begin to realize the value of your companionship. Absence is not punishment or manipulation. It is a form of self-respect. It allows others to recognize what they have taken for granted, and it reminds you of your own importance without depending on external validation. Look at examples in daily life: the parent who gives a teenager space to learn responsibility, the teacher who steps back to let students find answers themselves, the leader who trusts their team to execute without micromanaging. The friend who does not always chase approval or attention, but appears when it matters most. These people understand that absence is not emptiness, but presence in another form. It communicates confidence, authority, and intentionality. Let your absence speak by mastering restraint. Do not answer every call, react to every comment, or attend every invitation. Do not prove your worth in every conversation or situation. Instead, focus on your purpose, your growth, and your presence when it truly matters. The energy you conserve amplifies your influence. The moments you show up carry weight because they are not taken for granted. Absence becomes a signal that your time, energy, and attention are valuable and that people should not treat them lightly. This principle also applies to personal development. The person who spends hours studying, training, or creating in solitude, who is not constantly broadcasting their efforts, allows their work to speak for itself. When the results appear, when mastery is demonstrated, absence has already set the stage. People recognize the dedication, the skill, and the discipline without you needing to announce it. Absence, in this sense, is a form of quiet authority, a declaration of your worth that does not require validation or attention. In social interactions, letting your absence speak teaches boundaries. It signals that your life is intentional, that your energy is reserved for what matters most, and that you will not be drained by unnecessary drama or constant demands. People begin to respect your presence more because it is not available on demand. Scarcity in presence creates significance. It reminds both you and others that your attention is a privilege, not an obligation. Let your absence speak by embracing patience. The world will notice, but only if you remain consistent in your values and actions. Your silence, your withdrawal, your selective engagement becomes a force. People start to appreciate the depth, the wisdom, and the power of a person who does not need to chase validation. Absence is not neglect, it is strategic, purposeful, and magnetic. It allows you to grow while others realize the value of what they often overlook. Everyday life shows this in subtle ways. The colleague who does not attend every after-work gathering but contributes brilliantly to projects. The friend who does not respond instantly but supports profoundly when it counts. The professional who does not seek constant recognition but delivers results that speak for themselves. The individual who focuses on self-growth rather than constant approval. Absence here becomes a language, a statement, a force that commands respect, inspires reflection, and highlights your worth without uttering a single word. Remember this: the moment you stop begging, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you redirect all your energy inward, you begin to rise above the ordinary. Life has a way of testing those who depend on others for their happiness, their validation, and their direction. It will place obstacles, distractions, and disappointments in your path. But the person who focuses on themselves, who honors their own growth, and who becomes their own source cannot be shaken by the noise of the world. The journey of self-mastery is not easy. It is lonely at times, challenging at times, and uncomfortable at times. But it is in that discomfort that true transformation is born. You see, life does not reward the desperate, it rewards the prepared. It does not honor those who seek attention, it honors those who embody excellence. It does not recognize the one who pleads, it elevates the one who perseveres. Think about the giants of history, the visionaries, the innovators, and the leaders, the ones we admire the most. None of them waited for permission. None of them sought constant recognition. None of them begged for people to see their worth. They focused on themselves, their purpose, their mission. Thomas Edison endured thousands of failed experiments before lighting the world. He did not beg for validation, he persisted. He did not chase applause, he created brilliance. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, yet he did not beg to play or chase recognition. He trained in silence, in solitude, in focus, until the world had no choice but to notice. Every great story of success is a story of relentless self-focus, resilience, and the refusal to be dependent on others for your sense of value. Every day you are presented with choices. You can waste your energy chasing people who will never value it, begging for love that is not reciprocated, or seeking approval that may never come. Or you can invest that energy in yourself. You can grow, learn, and evolve. You can develop discipline, wisdom, and emotional strength. You can nurture your talents, sharpen your skills, and elevate your mindset. The person who chooses self-focus does not merely survive life. They thrive in it. Their presence becomes magnetic. Their impact becomes undeniable. And their journey becomes a lesson for others who are still lost in the pursuit of validation and approval. Consider your own life. How many opportunities have you missed because you were too busy trying to please someone else? How many dreams have been delayed because you were chasing attention instead of building your own vision? How many relationships have faltered because your energy was given away to people who did not value it? Now imagine if you redirected that same energy inward. Imagine if every ounce of effort, every minute of your day, every thought, and every decision were aligned with your purpose, your growth, and your self-mastery. The transformation would be extraordinary. You would become unstoppable, untouchable, and undeniable in the world around you. Remember what Myles Munroe taught: greatness is not found in popularity, approval, or applause. It is found in potential realized and purpose fulfilled. You do not need others to validate your journey because your journey is sacred, intentional, and unique. When you focus on yourself, you are building a foundation so strong that no obstacle can shake it. When you invest in your growth, you are creating momentum so powerful that the world cannot ignore it. When you master your energy, your focus, and your presence, you become a force that attracts everything you once sought externally. In daily life, this means prioritizing yourself without guilt. It means saying no to distractions, toxic people, and meaningless pursuits. It means spending time alone, reflecting, learning, and creating. It means understanding that your value does not decrease because someone fails to see it. It means standing firm in your worth, cultivating your skills, and living intentionally. The quiet discipline of self. Focus will speak louder than any desperate plea ever could. People will notice the difference, not because you demanded it, but because your excellence radiates effortlessly. You must understand that self-focus is not selfishness. It is survival. It is the cultivation of a life so full, so powerful, and so aligned with your purpose that no one can diminish it. It is the realization that you cannot pour from an empty cup, that you cannot shine if you are constantly chasing shadows, and that the world will only recognize your brilliance when you are fully invested in yourself. The person who learns to love themselves, to respect themselves, and to grow themselves becomes a magnet for opportunities, relationships, and experiences that were previously unattainable. Think of the power in this when you stop begging. You stop chasing and you focus on yourself. Your presence becomes magnetic, your energy becomes unstoppable, and your life becomes a testament to what is possible when potential meets purpose. The person who masters themselves commands respect without demanding it, influences without forcing it, and achieves without depending on approval. The transformation is profound. You step into your destiny fully aware, fully capable, and fully aligned. Life will still test you. Doubts will creep in, distractions will appear, and failures will challenge your resolve. But the person who is focused on themselves faces each trial with resilience, confidence, and unwavering faith in their journey. You will realize that the world cannot define you, that other people's opinions cannot limit you, and that your value is inherent, unshakable, and undeniable. You become a living example of the principle that greatness is cultivated from within, that self-focus creates power, and that when you invest in yourself, you attract everything the world has to offer without having to beg, chase, or plead. So rise above the need for approval, above the desire for validation, and above the distractions of the world. Commit to yourself, your growth, your purpose, and your journey. Understand that the power, the respect, and the fulfillment you seek have always been within you. Nurture it, honor it, and watch as your life transforms in ways that inspire everyone who witnesses it. Stand firm, stand tall, and let the world catch up to the greatness that you are cultivating silently, intentionally, and relentlessly. Don't beg, don't chase, just focus on you. Because the one who learns to stand alone becomes a magnet for everything they once thought they needed. When you master yourself, the world will recognize you without you saying a single word. Focus is your power. Protect it, sharpen it, and let it lead you to the life you were born to live.